Everybody is ablaze right now. Everybody's wondering, what is really going on with Angel Reese? Has she just flat out quit again? Has she quit on the Chicago Sky? Angel, you have to have some level of self-awareness here.
Angel Reese is once again listed as day-to-day, but if you've followed her career, you know that label often hides something bigger. Last season, it was a season-ending wrist injury. Now it's a vague back issue. And interestingly, the Chicago Sky have been winning more without her. In contrast, Caitlin Clark continues breaking records even while sidelined with a legitimate groin injury, always present and supporting her team as the Fever fight for playoff contention. This raises the question, is Reese truly hurt? Or is this just the most predictable disappearing act in WNBA history? Adding to the drama, she's facing public embarrassment after being caught quitting on the Sky. For many, it feels less like bad luck and more like another calculated PR move. If you believe this is just another chapter in the Reese show, you might be ready to say it. Fire the baby giraffe.
I think Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky. She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break. And there's no detail. Every day we hear that Angel Reese is day to day. And every week there's no update on what she's struggling with, what she's doing. There's nothing. There's no information about Angel Reese. I think she's quit on this season. I think this is a worse version than Kawhi Leonard.
Angel Reese is listed as day-to-day once again, and fans can practically predict the storyline by now. It's the same vague injury updates, the same sudden absences, and the same suspicious timing, always seeming to occur when things aren't going well for the Chicago Sky. This isn't new. Last year, it was a supposed serious wrist fracture, followed by surgery that was presented as a necessary step to prevent arthritis before she even hit her mid-20s. Just like that, her season was over. There was no gradual comeback, no late season push to help her team finish strong, just an abrupt disappearance. For many, it feels less like a series of unfortunate injuries and more like a pattern they've seen play out before.
Hey, look, bro, you gotta remember, she quit in unright. She just stopped playing in unright. Said she was hurt, didn't show up for the championship game, didn't even show up and watch. Last season, she claimed her wrist was messed up, didn't finish playing in none of the games. Now, this year, she's saying this season, it's her back. It looked like she's not finishing playing in none of the games. The Sky needs you. The Chicago Sky, you guys are the gum on the bottom of the shoe of the league. They need Angel Reese to play in games. Angel, where you at? Where are you at, Angel? This is nuts.
Now, the sequel has arrived. This time, it's a mysterious back injury. There's no clear timetable, no detailed explanation, only the vague note that it flared up right in the middle of another rough stretch for the Chicago Sky. You can practically map it out on the schedule. Big losses start stacking up, the pressure mounts for her to step up and turn things around, and then, suddenly, she's out. Not just missing from the starting lineup, but completely absent from the bench. At this point, it's become almost predictable which week her day-to-day status will quietly shift into an indefinite absence.
Angel Reese! She might have tapped out, y'all. Angel Reese may have tapped out and quit on the Chicago Sky. Everybody is speculating. What is this back injury? What's going on? Hey, are you trying to pretend like you hurt because Caitlin Clark really is hurt? Wait.
The strangest part? She couldn't even be bothered to travel to Indianapolis for a game against the Fever, a matchup billed as one of the WNBA's biggest ticket sellers. This is the league's self-proclaimed IT girl, skipping out on the hottest rivalry of the season. Yet, rewind just a few weeks, and there she was in Indiana for the All-Star game. All smiles, soaking up camera time, and even staging a marketing stunt claiming she took over Caitlin Clark's trap. Apparently, the back holds up just fine when it's about grabbing attention, but not when it's time to face Clark on the court. That's a pattern more and more people are starting to notice.
She's using her back as an excuse to sit out because she doesn't really care about basketball. I think she looks over at Caitlin Clark and says, hey, Caitlin Clark is out with a legitimate injury. I proved my point before the All-Star game when I went on a 10-game run trying to justify being on the All-Star team. When that first ballot came out, when the first voting results came out about the All-Star game, and I was 13th, holy cow, Angel Reese panicked, started playing hard, tried to put up some stats to justify being on the All-Star team, did that, and now she said, hey, the Chicago Sky sucked this year, peace out.
Naturally, the speculation has begun. Is this about protecting her brand from taking another high-profile hit? Or is it about safeguarding her stats by skipping games where she might be exposed? Either way, the conversations aren't flattering. Commentators are already suggesting she shut it down for the season, and some aren't even bothering to be subtle about it. They're flat out saying she's quit.
She knew, she identified once they lost Vandersloot, their point guard, early in the year. Once they started getting their brains beat in, hey, we're not going to win anything this year. I'm not putting these L's on my resume. I'm going to have an excuse for the Chicago Sky potentially coming in with the worst or second worst record in the WNBA. These losses will not be on my resume.
2 seasons, 2 injuries, both surfacing at the exact moments when the narrative around her game is at its weakest. Each one conveniently erases the opportunity to prove whether she can endure a losing stretch and still make a meaningful impact. When you line up those timelines side by side, it becomes difficult to chalk it up to coincidence. What some call bad luck starts to look a lot more like calculated timing. And the toughest part to defend? The moment she's out of the lineup, the team suddenly starts playing cohesive, winning basketball. That's when this story shifts from merely suspicious to downright unbelievable.
Last year with the Chicago Sky, you quit. You quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realized you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year. But once you realized your double-double streak was over, and it was over. She took over post-Olympic break. Once you realized it was done, you threw in the towel, said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year. You threw in the towel and said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all. People noticing the pattern with you. That's 2 seasons in a row.
The Chicago Sky's win-loss record doesn't match the way they market Angel Reese. For someone promoted as the face of the franchise, the on-court results tell a very different story. In fact, the team's performance often improves when she's not in the lineup. And this isn't based on a small sample size. The stretches without her are when the Sky manage to string together wins and avoid the sloppy, costly losses that keep them anchored near the bottom of the standings. For a player billed as a cornerstone of the team, that's not exactly the image you want the numbers to paint.
Let's get it! Burn!
Lack of awareness combined with a lack of ability to jump. Not great!
Burn!
Me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow.
Yeah!
Again, me bow.
Burn!
Just look at what happened when Chicago faced Indiana without Caitlin Clark. Many assumed the Fever would be vulnerable without their leader, but the opposite happened. Lexi Hull stepped up, scoring 17 points, finishing with a plus 22, and leading Indiana to a decisive win over the Sky. This is the same Chicago team that hasn't figured out how to beat Indiana all season. Even without Clark, players like Hull, Boston, Mitchell, and Cunningham thrived because they trusted the game's natural flow. No one was forcing bad shots just to protect a brand. They simply played smart, cohesive basketball, and it showed on the scoreboard.
Williams gonna have to hurry off the dribble, rolls out.
Oh, open three. Oh, what a sight for Alexi Hall. She has needed that one to drop.
Alexi Hall catching fire.
Now Chicago just needs to get it a little bit more settled here in the half court. Nurse loses it. Mitchell 2-on-1. It's a foot race. Mitchell to Cunningham. Cunningham right there for two.
Team chemistry is simple. You either have players who elevate everyone around them or players who disrupt the flow. When Reese is out, the ball moves more freely, and the stats prove it. Chicago's offense no longer stalls while waiting for her to post up or chase rebounds out of position. Instead of forcing possessions, the guards run their sets with purpose. The wings make sharp cuts, and the shots come from quality opportunities rather than desperation heaves as the shot clock winds down. The result is a smoother, more efficient game that benefits the entire roster.
What they do not understand is that coaches, and I know that the WNBA in some regards isn't a real sports league, and I don't know if they think like real coaches and real people in sports, but the number one ability is availability. If you're not available, you have no value.
It's a textbook case of addition by subtraction, and the irony is hard to miss. Removing the player marketed as the team's star has, in some ways, boosted the overall energy. Analysts have highlighted the improved spacing and faster pace when she's off the court. Even the bench appears more invested in the game. Coaches, while careful with their words, have hinted that the team plays with greater urgency when every possession isn't being dictated by one ego. The flow becomes more dynamic. The ball moves with purpose, and the collective effort feels stronger without a single player monopolizing the spotlight.